It's been just over a week since we got the finale of Cour 1 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury, which means today I'm going to be ranking all 13 episodes including the prologue from worst to best. Before I get into my list though, I want to hear yours, so head on down to the comment section below and let me know. And while you're there, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're a fan of anime and Japanese gaming content and you want to see plenty more Gundam videos in the future. Kicking things off at number 13, we have episode 4 titled Unseen Trap. Now this was by no means a bad episode, but it feels a lot more light-hearted with a lack of interesting build-up to maybe something greater. The best thing this episode does is that it introduces us to Earth House, with Choo-Choo being one of the most entertaining characters in the series as a whole. It also begins to give us a little bit more of an idea of like the world building within Earth, how the politics there are working out, how it's impacted a lot of our Earthian characters. And like I said, it's an episode that I thoroughly enjoyed, especially with Choo-Choo in here, but it did feel a lot more filler, it felt a lot more light-hearted, and I don't think it really had a whole lot of substance to really offer. At number 12 we have episode 8 titled Their Choice. Now this comes off the back of the creation of Gundam, and thus this episode really is about the beginnings of our characters putting together this company along with the aftermath of Soletta learning about her mother's lies. That part is really only dealt with at the start, and probably the most interesting part of the episode comes with sort of this ending cliffhanger of Shattuck taking aim at Miorin and the company. So really the best part of this episode is actually set up for the next episode. At number 11 we have episode 2 titled The Cursed Mobile Suit. Now this is a more politics based episode which I did really enjoy. We're kind of coming off the back of the first episode and it slows things down quite a lot, which I don't think was necessarily a bad thing because like I said, I really enjoyed the political stuff. The whole trial thing that was going on was very interesting. Of course we do get the proper introduction to Prospera, who is of course probably one of the most interesting characters to watch in the show. It's a solid episode, but I just like all the other episodes I'm about to talk about a lot more. At number 10 we have episode 1 titled The Witch and the Bride. This serves as a good start to the main series. It sets up Soletta and Miorin's relationship nicely, and also of course it does deliver that awesome duel towards the end. It basically sets up the kind of stuff you're going to get in this series. The focus is of course on Soletta and Miorin's relationship as we see throughout this entire first core, and then you do get some awesome Gundam action in there as well. You get some nice setup for the school and like the workings of it. So, you know, overall, it delivers kind of what a premiere episode should, but I do think it's a little bit too fast-paced for its own good, especially when you rewatch it. You notice that everything just flies by. It makes for a good time, but at the same time, it kind of feels like it's trying to pack a lot in there, whilst not really actually showing all that much. At number 9 we have episode 5 titled Reflection in an ICI. This episode is very Elan focused. We get that huge reveal concerning Elan 4 and the fact that it's another person who has had the face of Elan put onto him and is kind of being used as like a puppet to really get involved with Soletta and try and shake things up, try and find out more about Ariel and stuff like that. It really puts the ethics of the corporate world at the forefront, which I think is one of the more interesting parts of this series that it doesn't always delve into, but this episode does it really well. Outside of those major reveals concerning Elan's character, I don't really remember what else happened in this episode, so that's why it's not higher. At number 8 we have episode 3 titled Guel's Pride. This is the big turning point for Guel as a character that ultimately sets him on his own journey in the story. It features arguably the first proper duel in the series because let's face it, whilst the duel in the first episode was really good, it was basically Guel just being taken by surprise at how effective Ariel was as a mobile suit. But this time this is a full-on duel where they're kind of both on a bit more of an equal playing field, and at the time you didn't actually know who would win because this was at a point where Soletta hadn't won every single duel she was involved in. This was the first one where, like I said, the person that's going up against Soletta is aware of her abilities. They're on a bit more of an equal playing field, so there was kind of this tension of will she lose or will she win? At number 7 we have episode 6 titled A Gloomy Song. This episode really kicked off those Ariel is actually Eri theories, especially when it does come to the whole gun bits coming round and just the way that Prosper's referring to things. It's really that episode that set those things in motion, put those theories into everyone's mind. It also has a fantastic duel between Soletta and Elan with real stakes behind it. But above all else, this was probably the most emotionally powerful episode of the entire series. When it comes to the ending, you just really feel for how Elan 4 was treated. It was the start, really, of this feeling like a Gundam series with stakes and horrific things happening to characters. At number 6, we have episode 11, titled The Witches from Earth. This felt like an emotional conclusion, really, to the entire first Cour, and particularly with Suletta and Miorin's relationship. You get that sweet moment right before the attack, just right before everything is going to fall apart, where they basically, in their own ways, confess their feelings to one another. There's no I love you, but you can tell that Miorin definitely has some feelings for Suletta. Suletta has feelings for Miorin. You get that idea here. And like I said, it's just a really sweet moment and just kind of delivers on some nice emotional satisfaction. Add to that, you also have the tension of everything that's about to explode with this giant attack on mchat. So you have all that kind of stuff going on in the background whilst you have this really emotional story at its core. As the penultimate episode to the Cour, I don't think I could have asked for much better. Moving into the top 5, we have episode 10, titled Circling Thoughts. This introduces us to the Dawn of Fold, and it has incredible setup for what the finale would entail. We also take the next step in Guel's story, where he leaves the school and he goes off and just becomes like part of this construction crew, really, which I think is very interesting to do for someone that has been living the high life, really. I also love how this episode does a really smart job at putting pieces in place to manipulate Suletta's opinion of Miorin, whether it's Shattuck talking to her, whether it's the Earthians unintentionally creating this, bad idea of Miorin's intentions. And then you have that final little bit with Elan just putting the final bit to make Suletta believe that Miorin doesn't actually need her. It's just a damn good episode overall. It has the rising tension of whatever's going to break out concerning mchat and the attack, which we do see in the last 2 episodes, but it also has that tension of what is going to happen with Suletta and Miorin's relationship. At number 4, we have episode 7, titled Shall We Gundam. This is an actionless episode. There is no fighting, no action to be seen whatsoever, but it has some major revelations for Suletta and Miorin and their relationships with their parents. A child's relationship with their parent is one of the driving forces really behind all the characters in Witch from Mercury. You also have a lot of tension between characters, whether it's between Miorin and Prospera, Shattuck and Nika and the stuff going on with her. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that was just very, very compelling to watch. And there's just this overwhelming tension surrounding everything. To the point that, of course, we do get the whole witch trial thing that goes on, which was also fantastic. It's one of those episodes that shows that character drama is the driving force behind storytelling. Moving into the top 3, we have episode 9, titled If I Could Take One More Step Toward You. Of course, this gives us a bit more insight into Shattuck and, of course, his relationship with Miorin, some of the regrets that he might have concerning that, and it features probably the best action sequence of the series, where you have this team duel going on. The location I found to be really, really engaging. It felt different. Felt like there was a lot more environmental problems, I guess, for the mobile suits. And overall, yeah, like it's a very action-packed episode and delivers probably the best action in the series. Our runner-up in second place is episode 12, titled Keep Marching On Instead of Running Off. This is the finale of Cour 1, and it delivers some incredible payoff to character arcs so far, whilst shifting the trajectory of their development to a much darker and more tragic direction. The action is phenomenal, the tension and stakes are at an all-time high, and of course it does end on that shocking cliffhanger of Suletta murdering someone. Definitely got that set up for Cour 2. It delivered everything I wanted from the finale, and out of the main series, is my favourite episode. But we still got one more to talk about. But coming in first place is the Prologue. This was such a phenomenal episode of just anime in general, but especially of Gundam. It packs so much world building, character, and story setup into 20 minutes without feeling rushed. To be able to do what this episode did in 20 minutes is an incredible feat of storytelling and just Gundam in general. It perfectly pulled you into the series and got you incredibly excited to be able to watch the rest, and I adored this whole series. And pretty much every episode I loved, I enjoyed, I had a great time with it. But I still don't think that it quite lived up to how incredible this prologue was. And honestly, I don't think it ever could have. This was truly as good as you could possibly get for an introduction to a series and of a brand new world. And for that reason, it comes in at number 1. So that was my ranking of every episode in Cour 1 of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Before I get out of here, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're a fan of anime and Japanese gaming content. If you want to see more Gundam videos in the future, do turn on your notification bell so you know exactly when those go up, whether it's about Witch from Mercury or any other Gundam series. Above all else, I want to hear your ranking, so head on down to the comment section below and let me know. If you want to include the prologue within it, then you can do. If you just want to rank all the main episodes in the series, then let me know that as well, and also what were your favourite moments in the series as a whole. But as always, thank you so much for tuning into mchat today, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Bye.